The tension was already building. The Cincinnati crowd had been buzzing all day, anticipating the showdown that everyone had been waiting for. But before a single ball had been struck, the drama had already begun. Amanda Anisimova, the world number 10, the ninth seed, the American star who was supposed to have home court advantage, had just made a shocking confession. She was not afraid of Alex Eala. She was not afraid of the pressure. But she knew exactly what she was walking into. A packed stadium, a sea of Filipino flags, and a crowd so electric that it felt more like a basketball game than a tennis match. The American had been watching the Eala-mania unfold for months. She had seen the scenes in Toronto. She had seen the scenes in Washington. And now, she was about to experience it firsthand. She has a great fan base, Anisimova said. It looks like an incredible atmosphere every time she steps out to play a match. I'm really looking forward to it. But what made her words truly remarkable was the honesty behind them. Anisimova was not complaining. She was not making excuses. She was embracing the challenge. I love a packed stadium and I love a good atmosphere, she declared. Even though they're probably going to be rooting more for her end, I don't mind it. I'll try to thrive off of the energy. The tennis world erupted. Social media exploded. The Filipino community celebrated. And the stage was set for a showdown that would be defined not just by tennis, but by the passion of the fans. It began in the post-match interview after Anisimova's second-round victory over Zeynep Sames. The American had just dispatched her opponent with a composed 6-2, 6-3 win, but the questions that followed had little to do with her own performance. The media wanted to know about Alex Eala. She had been a longtime admirer of the Filipino phenomenon. Earlier this year at the Dubai Tennis Championships, Anisimova had found the time to go and watch Eala play against Serena Sirsti. The Romanian had been left frustrated at the crowd's conduct during the encounter, but the American was enamored. She had nothing but kind words for what she had seen, admitting, "I love that she has such an incredible fan base. It's amazing. I think she's also such a good representation of her country. I mean, she's so young, and she carries herself so well. It's so good to see. I caught a little bit of the beginning of her match last night," Anisimova recalled. "Yeah, I stuck around for it, because the atmosphere was so great. I normally wouldn't, but since our hotel is right at the site, I was like, why not?" That admiration had only grown in the months since. Now, she was preparing to face Eala for the first time, and she knew exactly what was waiting for her. "I haven't played her before," Anisimova said. "She's been having such an incredible season, incredible year. Very great player with a lot of fans. So I'm really looking forward to that. I know that it's probably going to be a very packed stadium. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be really fun." But it was her follow-up comments that truly captured the attention of the tennis world. When asked directly about whether Eala converts every court into a home match, Anisimova did not hesitate. "That's true, yes," she said. "She has a great fan base, and it looks like it's an incredible atmosphere every time she steps out to play a match. So I'm really looking forward to it. I love a packed stadium, and I love a good atmosphere. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be a great match, even though they're probably going to be rooting for her, more for her end. But I don't mind it, and I'll try to thrive off of the energy." The words were respectful. They were honest. And they were a testament to the remarkable atmosphere that Eala had created wherever she played. The Eala-mania was real, and even the world number 10 was ready to embrace it. To understand Anisimova's comments, one must understand the phenomenon she was about to face. The Eala-mania had become one of the most compelling stories of the 2026 tennis season. Wherever Eala played, thousands of Filipino fans would turn out in force. They carried Philippine flags, wore red, white, and blue, and transformed neutral venues into scenes that sometimes resembled a Manila homecoming. Washington had seen it. Toronto had seen it. And now, Cincinnati was about to experience it firsthand. The scenes in Toronto had been particularly extraordinary. More than 10,000 fans packed SoBi Stadium, creating an atmosphere that tournament director Carl Hale said they had never seen anything like in Toronto before. Philippine flags were everywhere. Chants of "Let's Go Alex" shook the stadium. Signs screamed Eala-mania and Mahal Kita. One supporter even showed up wearing a dinosaur costume wrapped in the Philippine flag, earning the nickname Ealasaurus Rex. The impact of the Eala-mania was felt everywhere. Former doubles world number 1 Rennie Stubbs, who had coached Serena Williams, explained why she believed the atmosphere around Eala was something many players rarely experience. Broadcast commentators have been clear that they were having trouble reading the hype of Eala's crowds, as many of the fans were even unfamiliar with the sport. Rather than criticizing, Stubbs emphasized she enjoys seeing the excitement Eala generates. Even the tennis players that have been out here a long time are realizing that this is an atmosphere that you probably have never played in front of ever, except maybe Serena in New York the last time she played there, Stubbs said. That is what you're getting every time you play Alex Eala, so you have to be mentally prepared to deal with that. Anisimova was more than mentally prepared. She was excited, and that made her even more dangerous. Anisimova's comments were not just about the fans. They were about Eala herself. The American had been watching the Filipina's remarkable rise with great interest, and she had nothing but admiration for what Eala had achieved. I love that she has such an incredible fan base. It's amazing. I think she's also such a good representation of her country. I mean, she's so young, and she carries herself so well. It's so good to see. Anisimova understood the significance of Eala's journey. The 21-year-old from Quezon City had left her home at just 12 years old to train at the Rafael Nadal Academy in Spain. She had worked tirelessly to improve her game, knowing that the path to the top would be unforgiving. And now, she was one of the biggest stars in women's tennis, the first Filipino player to win a WTA Tour singles title and the highest-ranked Filipino tennis player in history. Anisimova also understood the pressure that Eala was under. The Filipina had admitted that life in the spotlight can be both heavy and fun, but she was learning to embrace it. My days have gone a little more packed with the commitments, but obviously in a very good way, and I'm enjoying a lot, Eala said recently, adding that she felt it was helping her grow as a more established player on tour. Anisimova, who had stepped away from the sport for 8 months to deal with burnout and prioritize her mental health, understood that pressure better than most. But the admiration was not just about respect. It was about recognition. Anisimova knew that she was facing a player who had already beaten the best in the world. Eala had compiled 9 victories in 13 matches against top 10 opponents. She had beaten Iga Swiatek, Jessica Pegula, Coco Gauff, and Elena Rybakina. She had won her first WTA title in Washington, and she was on the cusp of her 10th top 10 victory. Anisimova was not taking her lightly. The match between Eala and Anisimova promised to be a fascinating tactical battle. Anisimova was the heavier hitter and the more decorated player, with 2 WTA 1000 titles from 2025 and a Grand Slam final on her resume. She had reached a career-high ranking of number 3 and had been a consistent presence in the later rounds of major tournaments. Her game was built on power and precision. Her forehand was one of the most devastating in the women's game. Her serve was a weapon, and her ability to stay calm in pressure situations was legendary. Eala, by contrast, was the counterpuncher. Her game was built on movement, anticipation, and the ability to absorb pace. She would need to extend rallies, change direction, and test Anisimova's movement. The Filipina had already demonstrated that she could handle elite opposition, and her recent performances have been nothing short of spectacular. She had won 8 of her last 9 matches, including a historic title in Washington and a deep run in Toronto. The statistics told a story of 2 contrasting styles. Anisimova had been dominant in her second-round victory, winning 6-2, 6-3 against Sonmes. She had served with power and accuracy, and her ground strokes had been precise. Eala, meanwhile, had dominated Ruse 6-1, 3-0 before the Romanian retired. She had won 71% of the points played on Ruse's first serve and 78% on her second delivery. Her ground strokes had been precise, her court coverage exceptional, and her mental focus unshakable. The match would be decided by the small margins. A few points here, a few points there, a break of serve at a critical moment, a mental lapse that proved costly. Anisimova would attempt to impose her pace and shorten points, while Eala would look to absorb that power and test the American's movement. It was a classic clash of styles, and the tennis world was eagerly anticipating it. The Cincinnati crowd was already buzzing before the match began, but Anisimova's comments had added an extra layer of excitement. The American had acknowledged the power of the Filipino fans. She had embraced the challenge, and she had made it clear that she was ready for whatever came her way. The stadium was packed. Thousands of Filipino fans had turned out, their red, white, and blue flags waving with passion. They had come from across North America